Teen Sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes.
Oh, good morning, good morning. Yes, that meow that picked up was Hummer, an adopted kitty. She was been so quiet this whole time. Now she's running through my legs and everything. She wants to be on the show, so if she jumps up here, there we go. Just never ending. It's probably going to be on and on and on. Hey, if you're joining us from driving into Santa Barbara, driving out in or out of town, welcome. If you're part of our Eternity Ready radio family, good morning. Say good morning to the world. Let's see. This last week, let's see. We have had Ashburn leads the way, Brussels number 2, Frankfurt number 3, San Jose in 4th place this week. There you go. Let's see. I admitted everybody. We have Alex Ramirez, Anthony Rodriguez, our producer, Richard Dugan, Dominique Hackett. Anthony has got a guest, and I see this strange, good-looking guy in the house. I'm waving to him. And then we have Dr. Dale Figtree. Woo! Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah,
morning.
well, they're all waving. We can't talk at once.
Good morning.
Isn't that funny? What I wanted to do is I wanted to start the show because we went and got our box last week and we loaded it up on the fruits. So I started juicing. Isn't that a perfect topic for Dr. Dale Figtree? Thank you. And I'm not kidding. I was reminiscent of the fact that you had some construction work done, I don't know how many years ago. It was ages ago, years and years and years ago. And I remember that you brought your juicer and that juicer going off every single morning. So I was mentioning to Dominique and I said, what does this remind you of? So we started doing it. And so thank you, because I really started getting that craving for it. And then I don't know, time has elapsed, but now I am back full juice. So let's talk about juicing for our kids going back to school and the benefits thereof. Dr. Dale.
Okay, well, juicing, the beauty of juicing, especially if you drink it after you juice it, is that you're consuming something that's alive, and there's no vitamin pill that comes close. It is so rich in nutrients and the best water money can buy, and it gets absorbed instantly. And so it's not a whole meal, and it's not a whole food. It's a precursor. But it's a precursor that is stronger and more potent than anything else I know. As I say, the way to begin the day, the way to begin a meal. And, there are many people. First of all, let me just say that I'm not talking about juice that's just only fruit. Unfortunately, fruit has too much glucose, natural sugar in it, and it's better if you eat it so that the fiber can slow down the absorption of the glucose into the pancreas, so the pancreas isn't overwhelmed with too much glucose to deal with. So we're talking about vegetables or a combination of like apple and vegetables, okay? But to begin the day like this, it's like the word breakfast means breaking the fast. When you wake up, you haven't eaten for 6 or 8 hours, maybe 10. And you need to break the fast and to immediately put in your body something that is that potent, that easily absorbed, that powerful. There's just nothing like it. Okay. So, good juices, a good example of a delicious juice would be a juice that maybe has 1 apple, a few carrots, and a few stalks of celery. I could just explain the apple is rich in quercetin. It's an anti-inflammatory. You know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? There's some truth in it. The carrots are rich in vitamin A, incredible for the eyes, incredible for the immune system. I mean, just incredible for actually healing even cancer. Okay. Yeah.
Question. Yeah. You were talking about separating the fiber from the fruit. So my question is, if you were to do like a Vitamix smoothie instead of a juice extractor that leaves behind all the pulp, would that be okay? That's like if you're having the whole thing in a Vitamix smoothie. Does that would if you're having fruit in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, that would be okay. At the same time, let me just say that doing a juice isolated by itself and then doing a smoothie amplifies the intensity.
Okay.
And, when I work with people that are in situations where their body's in a crisis, they need the most powerful fuel possible to engage the body's deepest capacity. And when I'm talking about fuel, I'm not talking about calories. I'm not talking about protein. I'm talking about quality nutrients. So the question is how to get the most quality nutrients into the body. So a smoothie is great, but a juice and then a smoothie is just amplified. It's just amplified. Okay. So, for me, I started this. I had cancer 50 years ago, and I was put on a diet where there was a juice, breakfast, lunch, and dinner before other food. And this was really powerful. And after 3 years, my body was able to completely heal. There's a place called the Gerson Institute in Mexico where they do 14 juices a day. And they have people that heal from cancers that are considered unhealable. I once visited that place and I met a man that had Lou Gehrig's disease, which is considered completely unhealable. And he said when he came in there 3 months ago, he wasn't able to talk or walk, and he was walking and talking. So we're talking about juice as an amplification for already a good diet, Mm-hmm. And so, if somebody just like Erga was saying, to just have a glass of juice along with the smoothie or along with anything else you're doing can only amplify your body's ability to work its best.
How's that Gerson Institute spelled?
Gerson.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, when you're saying the vegetables and the fruits, because organic is just that's our denominator on this show. Because I know there's a big difference, and I love it when Carolyn comes on, and she's on quite regular. Owner Carolyn Gibbons Farms, she talks about the energy. She talks about what they grow for stores and what they grow for their clients, and the energy of that. When I pick up the box on Wednesdays, it was just picked. So we go through that.
The pressure, when things are alive, you're not only getting nutrients, but you're getting life force, and there's a difference.
Life force. That's what she says. Yes. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Alex, are you a juicer? Alex?
No, I do not juice at all. I don't know. I've never really gotten into it. I always tend to do smoothies and eat more whole foods and get my fruits and vegetables through my meals. I've just never gotten into juicing, never got a juicer. I don't know, but I'm not opposed to it. Now, my question would be, would it matter if you were juicing perhaps not in the morning, but in the afternoon? Does it matter the time of day? I know you said
no. I say the morning because it's an incredible way. You wake up from 6 or 8 hours of not eating.
Right.
The first thing you do is you put this easily absorbed, like instantly, because there's no fiber, just instantly. What an incredible way to start the day. But if you do it at lunch, like when I make juice, I make 2. So I do one for breakfast and one for lunch. But any time during the day, juice is a powerful, powerful thing. Okay.
Awesome.
And I wanted to also say that, it's not just carrot, celery, apple. Beets increase nitric oxide in the body, increases oxygenation for the lungs, and it's healthy for the heart. I put some dandelion greens in, which is amazing for the liver. And cilantro, which pulls heavy metals out of the body. I put in some turmeric and some ginger, anti-inflammatories. So,
it's kind of like what goes in my smoothie. I tend to do smoothies, spinach, hemp seeds. I'll throw some beets in there, blueberries, a little bit of oat milk and water, protein powder.
A healthy smoothie is wonderful.
Yeah.
As a nutritionist, seeing people that are really challenged, really challenged. It's like, how can I take even that healthy smoothie
and supersize it
and amp it up?
Yeah,
Amp it up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. How can we get a hold of you, Dr. Dale?
My website, dalefigtree.com. My telephone number is listed in there, and
Woo!
Nice.
And you are amazing with quite a following and quite a story. And you're also an author / artist. And why don't you pitch your book right now? You have a new book, don't you?
Well, I just came out with a book called The Gift of Dreams. It's a little bit different, but I just want to say that I do have a cookbook that has juice recipes, because there's juice recipes like cabbage can help with ulcers, heal ulcers in the liver. I mean, there's cruciferous vegetables if someone is hormonally imbalanced. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but there's also a lot of recipes for smoothies and soups and other things. That everything is high nutrient, everything. Nice. So you're not putting in your body sandwiches, bread, stuff that gives you calories but doesn't have nutrients in it. So my whole thing is, how can you just choose foods that are high in nutrients and the highest nutrients possible?
Nice.
Well, a way to do it.
In the waiting room, guess who we have? A gentleman that you introduced us to a long time ago, probably 8-9 years ago, Richard Ellsworth. Stay here. He's from chiropractic school up north, San Francisco Bay Area. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm coming to you live from Life Chiropractic College West. And today, I thought it might be fun to talk about feet. A very interesting topic, and one of our body parts that we kind of neglect. You know, we use our hands all the time, and we use our feet just as much for walking and getting us places, but we never really think about them.
I just got a pedicure. I got a pedicure. My feet are
very nice.
My cozies are beautiful.
Very, very nice. Did one of them go to the market?
There you go. That's right. The little one.
The little one.
Screamed all the way home.
Screamed all the way home because he was.
The feet are really. You know what I find is like parents start off early, especially when the kids. And I've done this. Okay. Where you buy shoes, you buy them a little bit bigger. I don't even know if that's the smart thing to do anymore today, but kids' feet grow so fast. I mean, mine went from a 7 to a 10 in like 13, 14 months, and my feet just grew. Everybody like, oh my gosh. So so let's start off from the beginning. Parents, shoes, picking shoes.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So the most important thing with shoes is that they cannot be too tight. That's huge. So I remember when I was in, middle school, high school, my foot size was also constantly growing, and I wanted shoes that I'd already broken in, shoes that I was familiar with. I wanted them to look good, and I cared about that more than how they actually felt on my foot. And now I have osseous growths on my feet. I have bunions, right? And it's a pain in the butt to deal with. And that came from wearing shoes that were too tight during that time of my life. And it's really important to give your feet a little bit of wiggle room. And sometimes, certain foot shapes need a little bit more. And that's why it's really important when you're trying on those shoes at the shoe store that you walk around a little bit. And I don't just mean walk to the end of the aisle and back. I mean, really walk around the store a few times, do some laps. Make sure that in each step that you take, that your foot actually moves a little bit in the shoe. And it's more important that it's loose from side to side. It's less important the length, but it's more important the width. And that's because that's where that compression is that will bring your toes too close together if the shoes are too tight. If your toes come too close together, it puts pressure on a whole host of nerves that are in your feet that will transmit all the way up your leg, and it will actually create a subluxation, so a vertebral misalignment in your lower back. So it's amazing. Vertebral misalignment, right? So when one of your vertebrae or your sacrum goes out of alignment. And that can happen very simply from wearing shoes that are the wrong size. And that can then create a whole host of other issues, right? You can end up with a short leg on one side. Then your whole spine goes crazy. You can end up with scoliosis. You have a whole bunch of nerves that are being impinged on. It can affect nerve flow and blood flow to organs. I mean, it can lead to a million different things. So what a lot of the research is showing is that there are these things that I've mentioned before on this show called tribal toes, and they're actually toe spacers, and they go between your toes to create proper spacing. And what happens is when you use them, it releases a lot of the pressure from the bones onto those nerves from wearing tight shoes or just not treating your feet appropriately. And when that pressure is released, bunions actually reverse themselves and completely disappear, and people's pelvises actually realign. They go back into alignment. And research shows that it can actually realign your entire spine.
Wow.
Just by wearing spacers in your toes. It's pretty impressive.
Wow. Okay, so I have a quick question. So for our teens or our kids, young adults, if for the weekend, and if you're just strolling around inside your house and you're not going outside, just not doing anything, would you recommend even wearing shoes?
If you're not running or doing anything athletic where you could drop something on your foot, or you're working in a kitchen where you could drop a knife on your foot, barefoot is definitely the way to go. So science also shows that when we're walking barefoot on the ground, it actually is creating a sensation of grounding, which involves negative ions, and it involves a sense of being grounded, which really just means out of your head. The thing about with being students is that we get very much in our heads, blood flow to our brain is increased, and the attention to our lower part of the body is actually reduced. When we walk barefoot and we ground ourselves, we significantly reduce anxiety, depression, and we start to have a little bit more trust in the timing of things in our lives, and that of course reduces overall stress. And it's really an incredible practice. And, it's recommended that you walk barefoot on the ground, specifically on dirt, sand, for over an hour a day. Makes a huge, huge difference. And it also helps to keep those bones aligned appropriately in your feet.
Okay, I've got another thought. So it's at the bottom, gravity's pulled everything down. It's always at the bottom, blood flow, whatever. Would you suggest to our teen athletes to maybe raise your feet up and then, get this increase with that? Does that help circulation, or does that matter? What's your advice?
Yeah, so that helps circulation more so in the upper part of your body. Most people have adequate circulation in the upper part of the body. It's actually better to bring more attention to your feet. So either by walking barefoot on the earth, soaking your feet in warm water, or with Epsom salts. I know I've talked about the Robin Hood cure, where you're taking the blood from the rich, which is the brain, and you're delivering it to the poor, which is the feet. Elevating your feet brings a little bit more circulation to the heart space, to the stomach a little bit. That's better if you're having digestive issues. Maybe you're a little bit low energy, or maybe you want more blood flow to your brain because you have a test in the next period.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I like it.
That's awesome.
So when you soak your feet, I know about soaking in Epsom salts, but if you don't have time for something like that, is there a special scrub or something that you should do on your feet every night that might be helpful?
Honestly, really anything that gives attention to your feet. So you can massage them with some coconut oil. You can massage them with even magnesium oil is another kind of way to get the same benefits of the Epsom salts. But really just bringing attention. Do you remember those? They have these little they're like little heaters for your hands or feet. You take them out of a package. There are individual ones. I think they're called like hot hands or something.
Yeah, people who hike. And also
people who hike.
Yeah,
right?
I know about that.
Yeah.
So those are really great, especially in the cold months of the year or before you run or something, to actually take one of those and put it over the top of your foot. So there's a lot of webbing and a lot of veins going on over the top of your foot. And by bringing heat and circulation to that area, it increases the overall health in your feet and again, brings your attention and that blood flow down into your body a little bit more. It improves your immune system dramatically.
So I have another one. So injury would be the only time that you would do ice, right? You would only do if the foot is in pain or is hurting, and then everything else you would recommend heat.
Right. And even then, even with injury, it's hot and then cold. Or cold and then hot, but you alternate, right? It's not just because it hurts you put cold, because cold will drive away the blood flow and your body needs the blood flow to heal. So you want to use cold to lower the inflammation, but then bring in the heat to bring back the circulation. So you alternate and alternate and alternate until the symptoms of pain reduce.
Okay, so is that an alternate? Would you do that 10-minute segments or 15 or 5 or how does that work?
I would say anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes.
Nice.
Doing that for like an hour is great.
Yeah.
And then I also want to put out there to the teens, do you realize that your parents have probably been on their feet all day long? And if you've never done this as a teen, ask your parents when you're sitting in the evening and just kind of talking about the day, ask them if they would like a foot rub. That is a really nice way to interact with family members without necessarily having to talk, but it improves your health as well as their health because everyone's immune system kicks on when people are relaxing and massaging the feet.
My dad, funny thing
totally.
is, yeah, my dad was in the hospital and no kidding. I went to go visit him and Dominique offered that. And when he was in the hospital and it was like brought tears to his eyes. I mean, it's kids, teen athletes and stuff. I mean, that's just a really good bonding moment. And if you can't do that because whatever your parents or, you don't want to touch your parents. I mean, do it for your grandparents because it's like, especially if you have a connection, with a grandmother or grandfather, it really, really knocks it out of the park. Right
there are a lot of cultures that have traditions of being the host and washing the visitor's feet, and as well as in the Christian tradition, there's the culture of washing feet. So there's a very beautiful thing about understanding that the feet and honoring the feet is actually hugely important and good for our health. And if you think about it, some of the cultures like Japan and some of the Asian cultures, they frequently India, they take their shoes off before they come into a house. And sometimes there's a pool of water in an atrium area where you can clean your feet. So you take your shoes off, you clean your feet, and then you walk around your house. And you can just kind of think about that. It's very fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends that you have to take off your shoes when you get into their house. So it's like, and it's great when I have different colored socks on. And that's always the time where I go to the person's house or, there's a hole or something, I'm just saying, okay, because I pick those socks knowing that I'm going to be the center of conversation. Okay. That's it.
I have another question. I learned when I was a young girl, because my parents did Touch for Health, that the feet were connected to the spine. Can you say something? I know we've got to wrap it up, but maybe we could talk about that on another segment.
We could do that. Because
absolutely.
I am looking at Dawn Sanders. You know what's next, right? Richard, what's after you every single week?
Oh my God, is it a hooga with Dawn?
It is.
Let's hooga.
And he's like, let's do the hooga. How do we get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me by email at rellsworth@college.lifewest.edu.
Nice. Woo! Stand by. Hooga right after these messages.
All you cowboys get your ride on. Now ride on. All you cowboys get your ride on. Come on and work it for me and let your body move. We are here together and we're in the groove. We gon' party tonight. We gon' dance around where all my steppers at. I know how to get down.
Come on, step it to your right. Now step it to your left. Now right now in.
our Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hi, I'm Don Sanders, Don's Massage in Ojai.com. And this week, we're going to do a little something different for the hygge. And the hygge being a comfy, warm feeling, kind of like getting a hug, only without actually receiving the hug. And we have a special guest here, and a young man who has worked his way up through the high school ranks into junior college ranks, and hopes to go on from there. A really nice young man, works and trains at the same gym I do in Ojai, Austin Franco.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
Woo! So my first
Glad to join you. Glad to join you.
Yeah, Austin. So tell us about your football career. Where'd you get started?
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing football since I was a little kid. Ever since I was 2 years old, I had the Randy Moss Raiders jersey on, running around in my front yard, just catching passes. The old bread and butter, as Tiki and Rondé Barber used to say. I've been playing for 18 years.
Nice. All right. So it's, as far as schools go, where'd you go to high school?
So I went to high school at St. Bonaventure for my freshman year, and then I transferred over to Nordhoff High School, more local for me.
All right. So tell me about your freshman year at St. Bonnie.
Yeah, so freshman year went great for me. I was nervous going in. You know, high school football was a grand jump from the Ojai Eagles, the Ventura Packers, and the smaller organizations like that. I was going in, I was young, I was hungry, and I worked my way up from varsity or from freshman all the way up to varsity. Just consistency, always in the film room, always in the weight room, just working with my dad and my coaches on the side. Really was able to get my starting job. Yeah,
that's impressive. Okay, that is very unique.
Good.
I like that.
I appreciate that.
Jumped right over the JV and freshman. No, you're gonna go varsity. That is awesome. That is fantastic. And then and St. Bonnie has always been a powerhouse in football.
Oh, absolutely. Prestigious names everywhere.
Yeah, big time. Okay, so where are you at right now?
Right now I'm at Ventura College in Ventura.
Nice. Okay, so I like that road. My youngest did that right. It was funny because the coach that he got a scholarship with up in San Francisco, he ended up getting fired. So then he ended up
the coach got fired.
Yeah, the local. So he stayed local, went to Santa Barbara CC, then San Diego CC, and then finally he got a nice gig up at Holy Names. And he ended up finishing, graduated top of his class, number one in his psychology. So the key is the grades, because I kid you not, these scholarships that are out there, and you I'm sure you know this, it's that you got the scholar athlete, but holy cow, if you can get those grades, he got 1B in college. That's it. So
that's
if you
amazing.
keep those grades way up, they really throw the money at great athletes such like yourselves, because they're like, wow, there's something upstairs too, right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that applies very well to the sport as a whole. It isn't all physical. I think the mental aspect, you see guys nowadays, the Cooper Kupps, the Kelseys, the Mahomes, the guys that have that mind succeed.
Yep.
Well, we've been hearing about you for about a month on Teen Sports Radio. The world wants to know who this Austin kid is. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're a two-way player, right?
I am. I play both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so if you had your wish list, where you think you're going to land as far as for the remaining, like a Cal Lou, or do you want to go out of state? You want to hit the bigger schools? What do you want to do? You want to play for me, Coach Prime? What do you want to do?
Yep. For me, it's go big or go home. A Power 5 school would be ideal. I've talked to a few. I've talked to the Dukes, the Eastern Iowas, the UCLAs. Just meeting with them and confronting them, figuring out what they need. And I like to describe myself as an athlete. I'm a guy that can go in and play any position. It doesn't matter what it is. You put me in there and I will make it work. I will consistently work at it, learn the position, learn the plays, and just be the smartest guy on the field. I can't guarantee that I can be the most athletic. I can't guarantee I'll be the fastest, the biggest, but I will be the smartest.
Woo! Nice. I like it.
Oh, I put my money behind this kid. I mean, just because. So what is it really about the sport of football? As a mom, I mean, I would just have rather have my kids stay with flag. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, I mean,
absolutely.
That hitting. Okay, and listen, my son still got a bump on his forehead. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
no, right.
Joe, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's get a helmet that fits. let's start that way first, okay? But no, seriously, there's something about that. So you're like a reincarnated gladiator.
In a way, yeah. I mean, especially with how the sport's transpired, it's gotten, pretty nasty over the last few years, and they're trying to take as many precautions as possible. Right now, we're not even practicing in full contact. We wear the shells at all times, and we're just working on our bodies and working on health. I think that's extremely important.
Nice. So if you had so let's go a little on the dark side here. Sports, how important was that for you through high school? Your high school, even though it hasn't been that many years ago, I mean, what the kids are facing right now, I call them the COVID kids. What kind of things and tips and tools? Dominic always said, find a sport, play a sport, because you want to try to find your tribe, right? Because this way you're going to be less apt to stumble and fall and get into situations that maybe you can't handle. How can you talk to kids, teenagers right now that are in high school pursuing some kind of athletics? I mean, how do you keep so? I mean, your dad seems to be a super important person, but I don't know if you know, but you got your athletics from your mom. I don't know if you know.
I believe it. No, I believe it.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. I tell my boys were raised on that. Okay. I don't have any daughters. If I had a daughter, I would be able to prove it to you. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, love to my mom. Yeah, she was a killer water polo athlete. So swimming is no joke. That's it is. Yep.
Very nice. Oh. So nice. What advice can you give kids like coming out junior, senior in high school? If there's maybe a little bit of a tidbit that you could share right now that could have, should have, would have known, or I don't think you could have worked harder. Do you have any advice? I always tell people, be careful of the pond that you're swimming in, because, if you're going to be sleeping with the pigs, you might not look like them when you wake up. You're going to smell like them, right? I mean, that's what my mom always told me. So just be careful. What would you say?
I would just say fall in love with whatever it is that you decide to do. And if that happens to be a sport, then you just fall in love with the grind. You fall in love with the worst parts of it. You fall in love with the conditioning, the stuff that isn't very fun, because it makes the fun parts, the championships and the winning and the celebrating with your family and your brothers and your sisters, so much more worth it. Nice. I think that was helping me with my work ethic, especially when I was consistently putting in hours at the gym and hours on the field or in the stairs or whatever it was that I was doing. I was falling in love with it. And it was more for me, but for my family, and just making it worth it. Making all the time that my family spent, all the sacrifices they made worth it, because I hope one day that I could repay them.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a little sister who I love more than the world, man. Yeah. 10 years younger than me. Yeah.
Give a shout out to her.
What's her name?
Haley. Shout out to Haley, man. I love her. Aww. Yeah. Very close with that one.
Does she go to Nordhoff?
No. So right now she's 11, but she's going to be going to Nordhoff pretty soon. She's a basketball player. I'm telling you, I'm about 6'4", and this girl's probably already 5'6". She's growing. Ooh, she is growing. Yeah. So I'm out there shooting with her all the time, getting reps in with her, and I'm big brother, so I have to take it a little bit and get a few points when I can.
Okay.
Yeah, but I hope it'll be all worth it.
This story. Yeah, how'd you like your mom driving and saying, "Oh, Long Beach State 79" as she mows down her son at 5. You know what I mean? Oh yeah,
I love it.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. You catch something spectacular. Oh, goalie 82, Westmont College. You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
I have to top that. When I catch something, I say ballet 79.
I love it. Nice. I love it.
Nice. Yeah. So you guys have been hearing about Austin, and I've been telling them about the show and you guys. And so I told them we're global. We're not just local.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Well, we've got Sharjah now. Okay. That's the United Emirates. They check in. Just so you know.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
SoundCloud. Shouts out to SoundCloud.
Right. Sound it all out. Oh, and then 5 days a week at Trinity Ready Radio. It's a Christian Broadcasting Network, and they air us 9 a.m. Central every day. So thank you, Jeremiah Ferris, for that. So we're getting picked up by other podcasts, but we're doing it in a way, Austin, because we're bringing out kids like yourself, and you're the golden boy. This is what we need. We need guys that shine their light, and just having push these kids forward. And this is wonderful. And I'm really proud of you because you're not giving up.
Inspired by doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, never giving up. Never. You live one life and you have to live it to the fullest. Yeah, absolutely.
You're still growing. That's what people don't get. 23, 24, 25, 26. My son's body now at 29. I mean, he's
way different.
Yeah. I mean, Dominique can tell. I mean, and he's way into his body, clean body, the whole thing, the spiritual side he has. I mean, oh yeah, he's Mr. Selfie. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. No, and I love that. Yeah.
Is that the son that played baseball?
Yeah. They both played baseball, but John just went a little bit further. But the youngest one, always, it's like not where you're going to be at, but your sister's probably going to try to top you, and that's a good thing. So when she sees you grind, it's all good. But listen, Don, how do we get a hold of you? Because we're at our break time.
You get a hold of me, donsmassageohio.com.
Nice. And Austin, I hope you come back because we'd love to hear more.
Oh, I'd love to be back, guys. Hopefully soon. It was a pleasure. It really was. Thank you guys for having me.
You're a trainer, right? Where do you train at?
I train at Bryant Street Gym in Ojai, California.
There you go. He's available, ladies. Let me tell you, he's a cutie patootie. We'll be back with more. Stay here.
I hear a song that takes me back, and I let go with so much freedom. I'm gonna get it, 'cause it's my freedom. When I move my body just like this, I don't know why, but I feel like freedom. I hear a song that takes me back, and I let go with so much freedom.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Hey everyone, this is Anthony Rodriguez coming to you live here at Teen Sports Radio. I wanted to bring up about last week National Overdose Awareness Month. A lot of people don't realize how much it's affected our community. People think it's happening somewhere else, but you know what? It also happens here. And we need to be more aware of it. We need to talk about it because that's the only way that we're going to go ahead and be able to support somebody that might be struggling. We have to remember that just because they struggle doesn't make them any less. They are a person. They have feelings, and there's many reasons why sometimes we fall. But you know what? We got to give them a reason to get back up. And we have to make them feel like they are somebody, because they are. There's somebody's loved one, there's somebody's friend, there's somebody's, uncle, child, and it doesn't matter. They're human beings, and we all need to realize that we all need support at any time of our lives. We can't do anything alone. And with that, I want to go ahead and bring in my nephew, Joey Brennan, who has, he has his own story, and I'm really glad that he's here to be able to give you guys some insight and hopefully give you some ideas and ways that we can go ahead and try to address this issue. Joey?
Hi. My name's Joseph. I'm here to let you guys know that there is a way to get away from the drugs and alcohol while you're in school. The way I got into it first off is just TV shows and music and a bunch of things like that, the environment that I had. So getting out of it is just, for me, was rec rooms, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, things like that. And it's hard first off, but after you get the hang of just hanging out and being around new people and liking sports and doing those type of things, it turns out to be really easy. Other things, you can just hang out with your friends.
That's so important. And I was just thinking that one of the things that we're learning to do is when you get a chance to hug someone, hugging heart to heart. It's so interesting that part of healing our teens is connection. That's the biggest thing, connection. And so when we come together and we hug, realizing a heart to heart hug gives that little extra, I care about you.
Dominique, explain. I didn't even know until last night, because I always break left. And if you're dyslexic, which Dominique is, but just think left, do the opposite of what you think. So I'm a hugger, but I always break left. And I think I've never really had somebody want to go on the right side. So go over that. What's that whole thing? You explained the whole story about hugging. And I was like, what? How do I not know that? Go.
Joey, your story is so impactful. I just wanted to share that part of the hugging thing. So think about it. As humanity has evolved, you usually have a sword and a shield, right, in your hand. So usually the sword's in your right hand and the shield's in your left hand. So when we shake hands, we literally have to put down the sword in our right hand. And usually most cultures just shake hand with your right hand, right? So that means you put the sword down, but you may still have the shield up. So when you hug someone heart to heart, that literally means that you have to put down the shield. And there's a certain amount of vulnerability. When we're hugging someone heart to heart, we're being vulnerable. And that vulnerability is our relatability. And Joey, that's part of what you're sharing is the vulnerability and the relatability.
So, but I say now break right. That's what I'm saying at the end of the day, right? We're breaking right now. So when I hug somebody, I'm looking at heart to heart with break right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're putting down the sword, huh? You're putting down the sword.
Yes,
putting down
right?
the sword and putting down the shield. You're putting down both the sword and the shield.
So when you go up to somebody,
I'm glad that you mentioned it. I'm glad that you mentioned all the TV shows and things. They show everybody is showing the message of to have a good time, you've got to have drugs and alcohol. So that's really good. You guys talk about that and resist that.
Do you think the gaming and all the gaming and that whole technology gaming culture is kind of driving it as well, because the people are just sitting there annihilating each other, with guns and bombs and everything. So it almost desensitizes you. Joey, what do you say about that?
I feel like it depends what type of game you're playing. Like there's basketball games, football games, baseball. You can get online and play, 5-on-5, like with your buddies or whatever. You don't have to be playing, shoot your heads off every day.
Right.
So I think there are better games, there are better outlets. There's sports like disc golf. I play disc golf a lot, and that clears everything out of my mind. Takes all my cares away for an hour, and I feel better afterwards.
That's one good solution, but I want to hear more, because that's what the show is about. It's not just talk about problems. Let's just come up with some solutions. So we got a little bit more left to show. Stay here. We'll be back with more.
Sounds of silence. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. No one dare disturb the sounds of silence.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Awesome, thank you. This is Anthony again, and I just wanted to give you guys a little feedback, and with that, parents, loved ones, make sure that you're paying attention to these youngsters, your teens. I know sometimes they push you away, but don't let that deter you. Please keep letting them know that you care, that you're worried about them, that you're going to support them. And at any time that they say, I want to talk, please drop whatever you're doing and just listen. Because sometimes we forget to do that. And I think that one of the most important things that we have to do is listen and hear them out. They might say something that we don't want or like, but just do your best to take a breather, breathe deep, and then just let them talk. Don't tell them what to do, just listen. And then if you don't know what to say, then just take it all in and come back, and then you guys can talk about it more. These teens will be a lot more surprised you doing that instead of you automatically telling them, I told you so. Because that's the last thing that we want to hear as teens. And it hurts. And so, yeah, we make mistakes, but we don't want it thrown in our face. So it's really important that we just go ahead and just do that. So, Joey, anything else you want to throw out there?
I think that as a teen, being able to talk about it, of course, is difficult. But But if you got nowhere to go and you need to talk about it, go to someone you really like. You know, you don't have to go to your parents all the time. You can go to one of your best friends,
Nice. Well, Joe, we appreciate the bravery that you have today to come out here and be that light, that mentor. We'd love to have you come back and shine more light. Santa Barbara, we love you. Break right on the hug this week. God bless. See you next week.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a pusher with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single